Welcome to the world's first straight talk Solarcast. This is your go-to podcast for answers about solar. Brought to you by Solar Harmonics in Northern California, who invite their customers to own their energy by purchasing a solar panel system for their home, business, or farm. Each episode, we discuss questions facing people making the decision to go solar. The solutions to your questions are given to you straight by one of the leading experts in the solar industry, Jamie Duran, president of Solar Harmonics. Feel free to search our library for answers to questions that you're facing when considering solar. And now, here's Adam Duran, our host with the questions, and Jamie Duran, our solar expert with Straight Talk Solarcast.
Hello, Jamie.
Hello, Adam.
How's everything in the land of solar this week?
Well, I mean, it's going great, of course. You know, it's. I just spoke to someone from PG&E who said it is, yeah, absolutely, unnamed source at PG&E that, their plan is to keep increasing electricity prices, and if people want to go solar, great, but that's not going to stop their plan. So, ouch. He said, he thinks there are going to be 5 new price increases for 2025. So,
wow.
So, and I said, well, as people are using more power, he said, it's great for PG&E. So more electric vehicles, more heat pumps, more, I just talked to someone who's putting in an infrared sauna. Ooh. And their doctor said for them to use it every day. Ooh. And I said, well, doctor, did you tell them how much the electricity bill is going to be?
No.
And no. But and so, it's as people use more and more electricity, buy it from PG&E, or they can put in solar and potentially batteries, or if they have solar and batteries. So it's reading all the people who are getting $350 is my cheapest bill of the year type of thing. So
yep.
It's pretty crazy. But I kind of wanted to talk about a customer type, and I'm sure you've used them many, many, many times, and that's a hotel.
Mm.
And so,
wait, what? Use them. What are you suggesting, Jamie? Hey,
you travel a ton.
Okay.
You like to travel, not live out of a hotel.
Sure.
But hotels are in the news quite a bit. But when you're staying at a hotel, people are getting more and more price sensitive of how much they're willing to pay to stay overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And hotels are feeling this because people tend to use a lot of power when they're staying there, because whether they are there or not, they like a cool room or a warm room. Yep. When they come back.
Yeah.
So, and they're not so great about turning off the lights, and not so great about they just expect a climate controlled room. And so how many hotels, just out of 10, when you've gone to them, how many offer EV charging? We'll start with that.
Oh my God, out of 10?
Out of 10.
I mean, 0.3.
Okay, so almost none.
Yeah.
So that is something that they are definitely feeling, and that they want, a lot of clients are searching for a hotel that has not just EV charging, but plentiful EV charging.
Yeah.
Because it does no good to arrive there on a car trip, especially, mm-hmm. and there's no EV outlets or chargers available for them.
Sure.
And so let's just say the hotel has 300 rooms. How many EV outlets would you expect them to have?
Expect or hope?
Well, that you would be able to check ahead of time.
I mean, I have called, and most of the time the person who answers the phone, they don't know what an electric car is. I mean, so.
But
EV charger.
You could say, how many, you think, if you said, how many EV chargers do you have? You think you would just get the blinky eyes?
Pretty much. All
right, let's assume that they know how many they have.
Max 3, lucky.
Max 3.
Yeah, lucky if you get 10.
Okay, but how much, now if you were building Adam's hotel, mm-hmm. and you had 300 rooms, how many outlets, EV chargers, would you want for your guests?
I'd want 20.
20. Okay.
Yeah, and with a covered parking. And Ooh. So I have found a hotel like that in the past year, where it had covered parking and I'd say about 20 spaces.
Okay. And did they charge you for the EV charging?
100%. So,
okay.
Yes.
So it was certainly not free.
No.
Would you choose if you were, I'm not talking airport hotels where
Mhm.
you're renting a car or something like that, but if you were, on a road trip, would you choose a hotel that had EV charging included in the room
Oh
price?
yeah, of course. I mean,
Okay.
honestly, with we do Airbnbs too, and that's one thing I
Mhm.
check, and I
Okay.
will make my choice based on that.
Great.
Yeah,
And there's more and more EV drivers out there. So
yeah,
it definitely makes sense for hotels to not only plan for electric vehicle usage, but there are, most EV owners do expect to pay for that. But if you could include that as part of their room, you'd probably attract a fair amount of EV
that
drivers.
would be crazy. Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
nice. I
Now,
would choose.
of the
Yeah, I would
hotels
choose
that
that.
you've driven up to,
Mhm.
let's go back to 10 again. Uh, how many have you noticed that have solar panels on the roof, visible solar panels?
Out of my 1 out of 10, or my out of
No,
10,
out of 10, out of 10.
0.5.
Okay,
Yeah,
so between 0 and 1.
yeah,
So this is becoming a bigger and bigger trend that we're seeing, is that hotels are starting to get these, where their electricity bills used to be 8,000 a month. So you divide that by the number of rooms, that's how
hmm
many rooms they have
same in
to
Christmas. Yeah.
sell just to pay for that one bill.
hmm
But they're getting, $22, $25, $30,000 in 1 month for their electricity bills, and they're kind of starting to hit their breaking point.
Mm.
We've talked about, the pain point for residential, but there's a pain point for business too, because in the past, hotels would just pass that on. They would just increase the room rate. But now a lot of people are expecting free breakfast, or they're expecting EV charging, or some other things that hotels are used to providing, that they used to be able to charge for, and now they're not being able to pass those costs on.
Yeah.
So we are starting to see businesses like this contact us for solar, and we're definitely talking to them about EV charging, and not just look at what is happening today, but by 2035 in California, it'll be a requirement that no new cars can be sold that are gasoline. So that's 9 years. So the equivalent would be, like in 27 or 2014, 2015, which I'm sure you could remember. That seems like just a few minutes ago,
Yeah.
but 9 years is going to go by really quick.
Right.
And so to not be planning, down the road for EV charging, and for providing, like Adam said, covered parking, which would be great.
hmm
No one wants to park their car in the rain. And so if it was covered parking, then, and there were solar available, and customers, hotel guests would actually add that on to their bill, or you'd be able to charge more for a hotel room that had included EV charging. I think that would be a great business plan for a hotel. So um, we'll be staying tuned for that. But we're working. The structures are really expensive
hmm
because you're building essentially a carport. But if we're using U.S. made carports, the steel for those is made in the U.S. It looks like those will qualify for the additional 10% tax credit. So instead of a project getting a 30% tax credit and about 29% benefit from the depreciation expense, they can now get 40% on the system, 40% tax credit, and then adding in the depreciation. So that's 40 plus 29 is
69.
percent of almost incentives paid for of that system. And so it's pretty amazing. And then with the cost of electricity, the break-even time is still about between 5 and 7 years for that.
Wow.
And
That
so we
seems
talked.
so much like a no-brainer.
It seems so much, and that's today. And remember, I started this with
Wow.
PG&E doing another 5 increases in 2025. So, ouch! I think we'll look back at this podcast in 9 years and say, "Wow, look at that! Every hotel has covered EV parking, and it's included in the hotel room, and the hotel room cost will be."
More expensive, obviously, but that's just,
But I mean, let's just say it's $200
sure.
now. How much do you think it'll be in 9 years? So, yeah,
300.
and so
Yeah.
But this is but then the hotel can save that $30,000 electricity bill, and then potentially pass that on to, at least it gets them back to even. So
Yes.
I think it's kind of a no-brainer. So I will ask people, if you're listening to this podcast and you stay in a hotel, it's rare that you would actually get to a decision maker there, but because most hotels, but a lot of them are like franchises. So
Yeah.
there's a franchise owner,
Right.
and at one point, some point, these hotels are going to come out and say, you guys need to add solar, and who knows how that'll go. But I think it makes sense for the owner.
I think the majority in California are owned by individuals, weirdly. So they are part of a franchise. And so most people, I think that hotels are run by these big mega corporations or something, but that's actually not the case in California. I know that the majority are owned by individuals. And so there is someone who is writing that check and seeing that money go out. There is somebody who feels that pain. So it's always, when I drive by hotels and I don't see solar or any kind of attempt at any kind of solar in their parking lot or anything, it's baffling to me.
Well, they haven't hit the pain point.
Yeah.
And so we're starting to see hotels that are hitting the pain point. And a lot of times they don't want solar panels on the roof. They want to maintain the look of the roof. And so,
Right.
Maxing out the parking lot, maxing out the roof, we might be able to, it depends on the facility, of course, but it's kind of a no-brainer. So these businesses that own their building and are paying for their own power, solar is a bigger no-brainer now than any time. And once we're done with the project, which takes a while, but once we're done with the project, the customer said, wow, I wish I would not have waited so long. So that's fantastic.
Yep.
And, but it's a process. So we're telling people, start now, because the PG&E process is very lengthy. And for PG&E to approve the project, any kind of commercial project now that's over, let's just say 75 panels, is taking them close to a year to approve. So it's ridiculous. But so get going now, because when you start looking at hotels for next year, people are looking already at which ones offer EV charging.
I know I am.
So,
yeah.
Yep.
If I could get free electricity for the car, that'd be sweet.
I know you could move in.
No, but it would be a decision-making factor for me as an EV
Absolutely.
owner. I mean, geez,
Yep.
it would save me, having to sit outside for an hour charging the car.
Could not, or trying to find some other charge station where you got to sit outside. And
Yep.
Some parking lot with some ne'er-do-wells. Anyway, so that's about it, Adam.
All right, excellent. We're going to wrap it up there. Thank you for taking a little more small chunk of your week to spend with us and learn a little bit more about solar. If you know someone who is considering going solar, this would be a great podcast to recommend to them. And if you have a question for Jamie, or they have a question for Jamie for an upcoming episode, you can go to our Facebook page, send us a message through there. And if you want to go to a library of our past episodes, go to solarharmonics.com, click on the podcast link at the top of the page, and you'll be taken to that library. If you would be so kind as to leave us a 5-star review wherever you got this podcast, that would be wonderful. We'd greatly appreciate it. Until next time, everyone, see you.
That's all for now. Thank you for listening to this episode of Straight Talk Solarcast with solar expert Jamie Duran. Join us each week for more answers to your solar questions. Speaking of questions, got some? Email us at solarcast@solarharmonics.com and we'll be sure to give you an answer in an upcoming episode. This episode of Straight Talk Solarcast is brought to you by Solar Harmonics, the leading solar energy developer in Northern California, who invite you to own your energy. Visit them on the web at www.solarharmonics.com.